like to first and foremost welcome everybody and thank them for coming, especially our guest speakers today, Mr. Mo Ambrose, Chief of Operations for M Gurush.
Thank you, Deng, for having me. I'm seeing a very good number of people joining your Good Vibes virtual communication.
Ms. Alam Chat, Stanbic Bank.
The government and the central banks around the world have responded with some stimulus packages to support the economies and ensure the banks that remain liquid. Although from a South Sudan perspective, it's different because our main issue is around cash. We're a cash economy, and this has been disrupted because of the global supply chain due to the COVID-19 situation, flights not being able to move around. And banks have had to absorb this cost, and there's increase in cost such that you have to charter flights to bring in significant amount of cash.
I'd like to welcome Saint Doe, Chief Commercial Officer of MTN South Sudan.
I think as MTN, our business it cuts both ways. We do deal with end users or consumers, and then we do have enterprise customers. And during this period of COVID-19, our biggest challenge, I think, from the initial days, looking at the trends globally and in other markets, had been how to keep the networks running, considering or knowing what the challenges COVID-19 brings, especially in the terrain that we currently are operating in.
One of our products which we have just introduced recently is the cross-border remittances. We have opened the border towards Eastern African neighboring countries. Something which is very important because it is actually making the COVID-19 devastation easy for the separated families who are not able to send money and who are not able to see their families. So the only way was to send money across the border.
And the second phase was basically to also help with the education. And with that, we had done work with a lot of NGOs like the UNDP, the WHO, used our platform to accelerate the education and bring a lot more attention or focus onto it. Now, I think when the whole pandemic evolved locally to the level where now there had to be some form of a partial lockdown, that is where the thinking around our small business support program came into fruition, because then for us, we realized that there are different people who are being hit in different ways, and how do you help businesses to be able to survive such a pandemic, keeping in mind that we are also a business and we are also trying to survive. And that generally drove us to come up with this small business support program. And the primary focus is on indigenous startups or local small businesses that are already in operation and would need some kind of a support to be able to survive this difficult period.
I want to move on now to speak to Emmanuel Togun, who gave us, he's in the health sector in South Sudan. They have a pharmaceutical company, and we always go to him for information about what's happening. Now, he doesn't work for the government, but he has an understanding of what's happening regarding the response to COVID-19.
500 plus tests so far, and that will actually clear up a lot of the backlog. So far, there was a backlog of about 3,500 samples which were taken, and they were never tested yet. So they have to clear all the backlog before we actually get in place. And sorry to say that if we're clearing the backlog as well, you have to remember that there will be more cases and increasing cases. So prepare for that. With regards to the capacity of the hospital at the moment, the John Garang Infectious Disease Center, a lot of donors have come in. It has 24 beds in the beginning. It's been upgraded to 90. From 90, it's now they're pushing it up to about 240.
My name is Joseph Abuni Gama, and I'm the CEO of Dynamic Consults Limited, which is an ICT company that is there to encourage the uptake of technology. We have the .ss domain. I think for the last 7 years, it's a conversation that has been happening around it, but finally it's coming to its fruition. So effective on the 1st of June, the government is going to, through the use of registrars, which is like ourselves, they're going to start rolling out the .ss domains. What are the benefits of, you would ask, how is it important to us? For one, it's going to give us some sort of confidence in the ICT sector. You would see that in neighboring countries, Uganda, Kenya, wherever it is, they always have a .ug.ke extension. We're going to have one of our own. So it's going to bring in some innovation, and it's going to encourage some confidence in our ICT sector.
This is something we're going to be doing weekly. I think as Goodbyes Business Network, this is very important for people within our network to have a chance to discuss what they're doing, and also for people to get ideas of how we can come together as a community of business people. The private sector has a big influence on how things can be done. And if we can get ideas across and come together to understand how we can try to help the country at these times, it's very important. Now, one last thing before we go, I want everybody to turn on their, because I want to capture these images. It doesn't matter if it's only going to be for 1 minute. Everybody turn on your camera so to have a look, everybody, say hi, and we'll be back to our networking very soon of Goodbyes Business Network, where we can see each other face to face, but it's as close as we can get. So this is great. Everybody's coming. Bye. Can we get a wave? Bye-bye.
Bye,
Fantastic.
everyone.
Thank you.